Hello, my name is Tony Mills from Energetic Wisdom. Today I'm going to talk about arthritis. I'll explain that once you've resolved these often deeply buried emotions, your body will no longer need to physically express the painful emotion. I don't psychoanalyze or do have any need for my clients to spend hours exploring and reliving the story. Okay, any painful stories. As a soul whisperer, I'm able to quickly communicate with my client's higher self and ask for the key information that is behind the problem. Then, using my own channeled metaphysical method, I help client quickly release the energetically trapped emotions around the challenge. You can visit my website, which we've got it up online here, energetic-wisdom.co.uk, and learn more about my work. So today I'm talking about arthritis. Now, arthritis is, in its name really, it's a fixed condition. Someone who is double jointed wears their heart on their sleeve. So there's the opposite type of person, okay? But someone who has arthritis, there's some aspect that is fixed. That is the point. And also there's a big contradiction in a way. I'll give you an extreme. Say you're looking after your elderly father who is getting very difficult, and really you get so angry you feel like punching him, but you love him. Okay, so you've got that conflict of pushing out on this elbow and then pulling back, and that causes an inflammation in the elbow. Elbows are to do with change and wanting to change things when you can't. So that's an inflammation. I mean, Louise Hay would say it's feeling unloved, criticism, and resentment. So it's we're not kind of perfect here, and we also criticize ourselves for being critical towards people. When we're in certain circumstances, and sometimes it comes from childhood, it's very difficult not to actually feel these criticisms. I mean, if you get to arthritic fingers, there's even the desire to punch someone, you know, but you're a nice person, you won't, you see. So the body reflects that. And then there's a feeling of being victimized from childhood. And you have to blame. There's a natural blaming. People who walk down the road say, well, I don't blame anyone. And think, I doubt very much if you don't blame people. It's very difficult not to. You're pretty good if you don't. So there's feelings of holding on to feelings of hostility and opinions and beliefs. We're living our parents' opinions and beliefs and feelings for a start. So these actually are carried in our body, and it takes a step sometimes to release these feelings that create a lot of long-term tension and anger. That is the point. There's anxiety, depression over long periods can also happen. Okay, this sometimes can be a build-up. You'll notice arthritis very often builds up over a time. And where its effects is very relevant to, you know, what's happening. It also talks to you. Also, if you've come from a place where you need to be right, okay, that makes it more difficult. There's actually one of Louise Hay's sayings that a positive affirmations for the liver, I think that is, and it's I let life flow through me. Okay, and for advice for arthritic people is when someone says something that you really disagree with, you say, you know, you could be right. Okay? Let it pass through. Okay, because that continual opposition creates that fixedness in our body. It's literal as that. The more fixed we are about life, the more fixed the body will become. That's how it works. And also, there's a buildup of repressed anger. which becomes rigid. Okay, it's rigid thinking and feeling, and there's repressed anger between that. Anger is inflammation. Okay, rigid thinking is rigid body. It's as simple as that. Okay, and if you're not compromising at all with anything, then things begin to set, and that's why arthritis can be a bit more difficult than I've got to admit it, a bit more difficult than other conditions to just change. You know, because there's a stubbornness and a rigidity that doesn't want to change. That makes it more difficult. I mean, you've got osteoarthritis, okay, and rheumatoid, which is more of an autoimmune system. And the rheumatoid, the body is kind of receiving conflicting messages. So it's like laughing on the outside, crying on the inside. And sometimes feeling totally helpless. It's kind of outwardly, you may not present that, but inwardly, there's that feeling of totally helpless, unable to change life, and burdens. You see, you can be in situations that are very difficult. You know, if you've got 10 kids and an alcoholic husband or whatever it is, you know, you could say, well, what do I do? That's the point. And there's hope everywhere, whatever the situation. But something has to change. That is the thing. And that is where and there's a fear of change can be a big thing for us. We have a big thing about fear of change, because it's best the devil we know. But unfortunately, the devil we know eats away at us. Arthritis eats away at us. So this is so important to be more flexible with life, and say, the thing is, am I going to die? Does it matter? Ask these kind of questions first. And if you have any kind of opposition, then sometimes you've got to express, to release that. It's good to express what you feel without having to jump up and down and pull your hair out. You can always say the truth and say, you know, that makes me feel angry. You'll notice I haven't jumped up and down and pulled my hair out. Okay, it's a bit risky if I do now. So it makes me feel sad. These are all truths. Okay, it makes me feel resentful. Okay, these are truths that you're saying. I feel these things, and this is what the body's saying. So to say that begins some kind of process, and things can then start to change. Okay, so I mean, different parts of the body is very relevant, but any joints like elbows and knees, there's something to do with change there. Change in direction, a fear of changing direction. That's the point. And when I was in the osteopathic school, there was the principal said that inflammation is like a fire, and a fire leaves ash, and the ash clogs up the joints. That's very symbolic. Okay, so that is the thing. When you're continually resentful and angry, it can build up that congestion in the joint, and it can solidify. So this is the thing, is to be, now I can work with these things, we can get down to the seat of these problems. We have to take some responsibility ourselves and kind of let go more. That is the secret of it all. Okay, that I might give you a kind of insight of where it's all coming. Some of it will be quite obvious to you, that you know what's happening in your life and how you feel, and the long-term ones will create a long-term condition. But I do believe that things can change. Okay, we're here to grow. All these pains we have is for us to grow and get stronger, but we don't need to suffer. And that's, if there's a lot of suffering, we have to work on that, because there's an opportunity for things to change. and this is where I work from that feelings involved. Okay, well, thank you all. If you want to put any comments afterwards and follow up, any questions, just go back to this site and I'll come back to you. And any other way I can help you, I will. Okay. So watch this space for any further videos, and thank you very much for being with me. Lots of love and have a great day. Thank you. Bye.